right, so yeah, let's quickly complete this project. So we are still on data entry. The other time we stop at discounts. So we have been able to calculate the discounts. All right, so okay, so we stop at calculating the discounts. So we just quickly complete this before we dive into the exploratory analysis aspects. Okay, so just to reconnect you, we started with data entry part one, and this is data entry part two. And what we shall be focusing on in this part is to complete what we started in part one. So we're actually looking at creating a system that helps an organization to be able to track their sales inventory. So far so good. Uh, we have been able to provide details from serial numbers down to discount. Now to start with the actual price. So what is the actual price all about? The actual price is actually the the leftover after removing the discount from the total price. So what we are simply saying is that uh, somebody, okay, let me use Prosper. Prosper purchased the total worth of 100,000 naira product from you, and you have told him you are giving him uh, 10% discount of that 100,000, which amounted to 10,000, as you can see here. Now, the organization wants to know the actual, or Prosper wants to know the actual amount he's going to pay for these products. And that is the reason why we are calculating the actual price. So to do that, we start with equals to as usual as one of the rule for entry formula in Excel. So having done that, what are the arguments that are involved for you to be able to calculate the actual price? For you to calculate the actual price, you need to remove or deduct the discount given from the total price. And that is simply selecting this argument, then imputing your minus sign, and then you click on discount. Then you hit enter. So this is the actual price. So instead of paying 100,000, Prosper is going to pay 90,000 because you have given him 10,000 as a 10% discount. So I will quickly autofill to replicate that same formula for others. Now we quickly look at the VAT. What is the VAT? The VAT is the value added tax, the additional payment you are imposing on the customer just because you are providing him or her some services. So, like I told you before, government will call it tax on you, then you call it VAT on your customer. So it goes with percentage. So let's also indicate or specify the percentage. So let's assume we are working with Nigeria standard, though it varies depending on the company and what they want to give out or what they want to impose on them as the VAT. So in this case, we are working with 7.5%. So I'll do the same thing. So what is the formula to calculate the VAT? The formula is simply the percentage you have already given, which is 7.5, and then hold down the shift and 5 to attach the percentage symbol. And then you call your operator. Remember, I told you about operators. Operators are the special sign that we use in joining or probably connecting our argument in order to give us certain results or the desired result. So I impute my times, meaning that you are calculating 7.5% of the actual price as the VAT the customer is going to pay. So I'll call the actual price argument and then press enter, and that settles it. Then you autofill for the rest. Then how do we calculate the deposit? The deposit, as I've specified there, the deposit is the percentage out of the actual price the customer is to pay before he or she is allowed to go with the goods, the product, or he or she will be offered any form of services. So, like we have already indicated in the attribute, we expect our customer to pay 60% of the actual price. And to do that, you impute the 60%, shift and 5 to attach the percentage symbol, and then impute your operator. Now we are referencing the actual price cell because we are relating that 60% to the actual price the person is meant to pay. And then we also autofill to get the rest. Then finally, we want to calculate the balance. The balance is what the person is owing you, that is the outstanding. So in that case, we want a situation that will be able to add up the VAT while they come to pay their balance. Or you can allow the VAT to stand alone and simply deduct the deposit from the actual price. So whichever way you want to do it. But in this case, I'm adding the VAT. So my formula will now be the actual price, then plus the VAT, then before deducting the deposit the person has paid. And then this person is left with what? 4,000, that is 42,750,000. So autofill as well, and that brings us to the end of querying our data. Now, the next thing we want to do is to be able to answer certain questions. So we want to draw insight from this data set. So when I said drawing insight as data analyst, so we assume that now you are given this data or you have computed this data. Now there are other form of calculation. There are other form of exploratory analysis you can carry out on this data. So this exploratory analysis can be divided into different categories. So we can have uh, unilateral, we can have bilateral, we can have multi-dimensional what analysis. So what we are saying is that supposing we are asked to summarize the whole of this data, or let's say the balance, and the essence is to expose us to a set basic statistical function for summarizing data. So we're going to be looking at some questions, some analysis questions that will actually lead us to the application of this function. So I will start with the summation function. Summation function is one of the Excel a statistical function for summarizing data where no criteria is involved. So what do I mean? Supposing we are asked to get the total of each of these columns, starting from quantity. That is, we want to generate the total quantity, the grand total rate, total of each of these headers down to balance. So to answer such question, we're going to use summation function. And the way we want it is that we don't want a set to output the result in this same sheet, because as an analyst, that is not the professional way. Your data sets should be in a separate sheet from your findings report. So that is the reason why I created this dashboard. So what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take all these headers that we want to sum up their values. Then I'll quickly copy Ctrl C, and then I will come to my dashboard and paste them probably horizontally. So I'm going to rearrange them. So I'll take them, let me place them vertically. So I'll do this. All right. So I want to this is where I'll be outputting the value, the total. So I'll give here, let me label to total. Let me label it total. So let me also label here the, sorry, this should be the headers, and the total here. Now, the whole of this section that I want to use, let me format it with border line. So I'll just select all border, and then start by entry equals to, then activate your function sum, and then we want to sum up all the values in quantity in our data set. So I come to my data set. So I'll start from the first one, then hold down the control and the shift, press down the down arrow button once, and then because we want to create room for the future entry, so I'll press it one more time so that any value that comes into this column will be captured even after my summation. Then I'll do the same thing here. So equals to sum, then call the so call the values you have here, the same thing, equals to sum. I just double click to activate it. Go back to my data set. Take everything here. Then equals to sum. Go back to my data set. Take everything here. Sum. Go back to my data set. Take everything here. Then equals to sum. Go back to my data set. Take everything I have here. Then for deposit, the same. Go back to my data set. Take everything I have here. Then of course the last one, which is the balance, sum. Go back to my data set. All right. Okay, so we end this session like this, and then when we come back, we look at the other general exploratory function like count A before we go into the conditional aspect. Thank you.